From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
This episode of News 8 Daily 8 is presented by Downtown Indy.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Thursday, December 10th. Another beautiful day today, much like yesterday. Plenty of sunshine with highs in the mid-50s. And the coronavirus comes to a critical crossroads today. A vaccine could be approved today for use in the United States. Scientists developed the vaccine at an unprecedented speed in hopes to end the pandemic, of course. And right now, right this moment, the FDA panel is meeting to discuss Pfizer's vaccine. FDA Commissioner Dr. Stephen Hahn says if there is authorization, it's possible vaccines will start next week. And he'll be the first in line to get it and plans to encourage his family to do the same. But there's no telling how long the approval process could take. The FDA understands the urgency and says there's a good chance the meeting will take all day today. It'll start with a series of questions from the FDA, Pfizer, and the manufacturers. Then there'll be a vote on the answers to those questions. Dr. Hahn says he can't prejudge what the committee's going to say, but experts could ask for additional data or analysis. That's why the FDA is doing paperwork ahead of time to incorporate the committee's comments and recommendations regardless of the decision FDA makes. They're expecting the decision to come fairly quickly after the committee meeting, but there's no guarantee it could come today. And remember, it is up to the agency, not this committee, but they do take the recommendations very seriously.
America is very ready to put this pandemic behind us. Probably the most important way we're going to do that with is a vaccine and to develop what's called herd immunity. So we're all anxious for this to proceed. Our scientists will make that decision. If we do, I think we can all really feel like this is a way and a path forward and that we see light at the end of the tunnel.
The FDA found no specific safety concerns that would stop the approval of vaccine and claim it is 95% effective. They've been preparing for this moment since June and feel very comfortable with where scientists are in regards to the current data. The meeting is public and will be live streamed. The meeting is on YouTube being streamed, Facebook and Twitter right now, as well as on the FDA's website. The Moderna committee meeting is December 17th and will follow the same process and procedures, but there will be a separate review team. And this morning, local healthcare workers are doing what they can to emphasize the necessity of the second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. We know both Moderna and Pfizer require 2 doses about a month apart. So what happens if you don't get that second shot? News 8's Brenna Donnelly spoke to some experts about this. She found that it's a pretty serious issue here. The federal government does not have a robust plan for tracking and reminding people about that second dose. Their 75-page playbook dedicates just 1 page to the topic, recommending a paper note card. The state of Indiana has other plans. It'll remind you electronically, continuously after you've gotten the first dose, that you need to schedule and take the second. Mary Kay Foster is an infectious disease nurse at IU Health. She says, if you don't take the second dose, you are not immune. She's concerned the general public won't take dose 2 seriously.
I can't go in off the street and drag them in and make them take that, but without the second dose, it's not going to be as effective. I mean, you might get a little bit of immunity, but not the kind that we really must have.
The worst case scenario for a 1-dose virus is mutation, where the virus teaches itself how to fight the vaccine. Foster says she's less concerned about that since the vaccine can be adapted to fit a mutated virus. Foster also says this vaccine isn't a Hail Mary touchdown play. She called it a running game, where we still need to wear masks and social distance until at least 80% of the population have taken dose 2. And by the way, Foster says once the vaccine is approved and shipped, IU Health is prepared to start administering it within 24 hours. Indiana officials say the state is expected to get 55,575 initial vaccine doses, then more each week after that. The first group to get the vaccine will be healthcare workers and long-term care employees. According to state health officials, it could take until January to get them all vaccinated. And this morning, it's unclear who will be next in line. The state says it will likely be essential workers or the most vulnerable population. The health department says it cannot predict when that will begin. Today, President-elect Joe Biden's transition team will meet with Operation Warp Speed officials. Operation Warp Speed is the Trump administration's program aimed at the development of coronavirus vaccines. Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar, who leads that operation, said yesterday he's already met with Biden's team to ensure a smooth transition amid the pandemic. Biden will likely oversee now much of the distribution of a vaccine to Americans. State leaders say Indiana still has a long way to go ahead of that vaccine. Governor Holcomb is putting new restrictions in place, including a strict cap on social gatherings. Okay, so there's a map of Indiana online through the state's website. It's broken down by counties and color. Counties in red have a limit of 25 people per gathering. That does include Marion County. Orange counties have a cap of 50. Also, local health departments are no longer allowed to grant any exemptions to that. News 8's Dan Klein reports it's part of the governor's top 10 to-do list.
The state of Indiana is on fire.
And you can see what Governor Eric Holcomb means when you look at the numbers of cases per 100,000 residents. For a fourth straight week, every county in red with more than 200 cases per 100,000. But in reality, only 2 are under 400 and 7 are above 1,000.
A place where we never want to be, and I don't want us to linger in this neighborhood longer than we are.
So he unveiled his 10-item to-do list for Hoosiers. And while some you've heard before, some may be new. First, limiting the size of gatherings. Second, pausing non-emergency procedures at hospitals. Third and fourth, following the mask mandate and keeping a 6-foot social distance from others. Fifth, washing hands throughout the day.
If we do, it will make a positive difference on where we are 1 month from where we sit today.
Sixth, getting tested if you're sick or have symptoms. Seventh, staying home and isolating if you test positive. Eighth, asking employers to talk to their employees.
Employers, please talk to your employees. What we see so often is the safest place someone is all day long is at work. But it's what happens outside of work that is then brought back into work.
Ninth, asking people to give blood and to food pantries that are seeing an increased need. 10th, staying informed about the vaccine. It's the light on the other side, but Dr. Bach says for most Hoosiers, it's still probably 6 months away.
But we still have to cross that bridge of time to get there. A bridge built on mask wearing, hand washing, social distancing.
The fact that we're even talking about a vaccine into this week or next week,
It's incredible.
is a modern medical miracle.
I'm Dan Klein for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook.
And for the first time in more than a century, IU and Purdue will not meet for the old Oaken Bucket game. The Hoosiers and the Boilermakers announced that they have mutually agreed to cancel this Saturday's football game in Bloomington. The decision comes as both programs report a rise in coronavirus cases. Last year, the Hoosiers beat Purdue, but the Boilers do lead the all-time series. IU will not be in the Big Ten championship at Lucas Oil Stadium. The conference has placed Ohio State in the game against Northwestern for next Saturday. According to the Big Ten, the decision is based in part on IU's loss to the Buckeyes earlier this year. In a statement, the university said it understands the decision, but is disappointed. Colts quarterback Philip Rivers says he's looking to T.Y. Hilton for another great game against the Raiders this weekend. Hilton is coming off his best game of the season with 8 catches for 110 yards and 1 touchdown. Rivers says he's impressed with what he saw from the veteran wide receiver.
I want to throw the ball to 13 every single snap if I can. You know, it was just like he was going. I was like, he may have 200 today. He was just one of those deals. So there's a little bit of that you don't want to lose. You know, when a guy's really rolling, you don't want to say, well, yeah, I might could have checked this, but I'm just going to read it front side and kind of go through it. It's like, well, no, this guy's wearing this guy out over here, feeding the ball. So I think you don't want to completely lose that.
And remember to switch to Wish TV before the Colts take on the Raiders. AC and the sports team will be bringing you Countdown to Kickoff starting at 11 o'clock Sunday morning. It is the only 1-hour Colts pregame show in the state. Now to some business headlines for you. Consumers are spending more in 2020 than they did in 2019. That's according to the Chief of Bank of America. Brian Moynihan says despite a record level of infections and a mounting death toll, many Americans are showing a surprising financial resilience. Earlier in the pandemic, U.S. banks set aside tens of billions of dollars for loan losses, but defaults have yet to materialize. Delta is asking employees to take more unpaid leave in 2021 as industry continues to struggle. The cost-cutting measure is the latest from airlines as they prepare for a difficult 2021. About 18,000 Delta employees have accepted buyouts this year, about 20% of its pre-pandemic workforce. More Americans likely filed new unemployment claims last week than during the previous week as a resurgence in COVID-19 cases heading into the winter led to more business constraining social distancing restrictions and pushed more people out of work. While the number has been consistently below 1 million, new weekly claims remain about 3 times greater than they were before the pandemic. The number of Americans joining the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation Program, which offers individuals an additional 13 weeks worth of benefits after they use up their allotted 6 months of continuing benefits, that rose by nearly 60,000 last week. Wall Street is watching as the FDA convenes a meeting of its vaccines and related biological products advisory committee today to review Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. This is the meeting that I told you about at the top of this podcast here. So medical experts say allergic reactions, though, reported by UK healthcare workers vaccinated against COVID-19 will likely be discussed before the FDA authorizes the vaccine for the U.S. In the past month, Pfizer stock is up over 20% on the enthusiasm that it will be the first company in the world to bring a scientifically validated coronavirus vaccine to the market. And Homesick, you know that candle company? It makes candles with a custom scents for each of the 50 states, several big cities, and even experiences like being in your mom's house, grandma's kitchen, or a new home. So the Indiana candle, it smells like denim, fresh picked corn, and newly harvested hay. Floral-filled breezes blowing across the fields, evocative of the Hoosier State. They cost $35, and it's a newer line of the Homesick candles, a great gift for those specifically not able to spend time with family because of the pandemic over this holiday season. And some final headlines for your podcast on the News 8 Daily 8 this Thursday. The federal government in nearly every state, including Indiana, are suing Facebook. The Federal Trade Commission and 48 state attorneys general say Facebook systematically crushed its competition by buying up smaller rivals. Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill sent us a statement saying Facebook has risen to an unlawful monopoly. The suits want Facebook to spin off Instagram and WhatsApp messaging services. Facebook responded to the lawsuits in a tweet, pointing out that the FTC already approved all of its purchases. Facebook says that the commission just wants a do-over. FAO Schwartz is listing its iconic Manhattan toy store on Airbnb. A family of 4 from New York City only, so a New York City household, can spend a night there on December 21st. It's done by a lottery system, so whoever wins will have a free reign of the 20,000 square foot store. The experience includes a shopping spree, building your own remote-controlled car, a music lesson on the famed piano, you know, the one that you saw in Big, the Tom Hanks movie. You'll also get a holiday feast. The cost of the stay is only $25. So the online lottery begins at noon on December 15th there on Airbnb's website. So if you know a New York City family who might be interested in this, give them the nudge. And an Indiana town is being recognized for one of the best holiday spots in the country, but man, it is lower than we thought it would be on this list. So Country Living released its list for best Christmas towns. Santa Claus, Indiana ranked all the way down at 47th. Santa Claus calls itself America's Christmas hometown. Each year, thousands of letters go to Santa, get sent to the town's post office there to get that special stamp. It's also home to Holiday World, of course, so who knows? Maybe they were tired of just giving that award to Santa Claus, Indiana, and wanted to spread the love a little bit. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This episode of News 8 Daily 8 is presented by Downtown Indy.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.